sun's trying to come out, but the clouds are here with really harsh winds at times still again. It's been like a theme over the past couple of days, huh? And what's going on today? It's kind of interesting reading this one where apparently here in Canada, there's a company that's going to try to help, I guess, manage things like drone operations. I guess primarily it says here for commercial operations. It says AirMatrix is pleased to announce that it has undertaken a new project to accelerate research and development efforts of its platform to inform communication standards for commercial drone operations. AirMatrix is receiving advisory services and conditional research and development funding from the National Research Council of Canada Industrial Research Assistance Program in support of the project. And it sounds like this project will start in Calgary. It says beginning in May, as part of the City of Calgary's Living Labs program, participating drone pilots will begin utilizing the AirMatrix software platform inside an allocated zone within city boundaries to begin logistics and public services drone operations testing. It mentions they'll start collecting anonymous data, I suppose, in order for them to do their research. And according to them, they see this as the way of the future coming really soon, I guess. It says in 2022, drones are a step closer to becoming part of our day-to-day lives, whether for having packages delivered to doorsteps and backyards, inspecting roofs, assessing infrastructure, monitoring construction sites, or for emergency services. Drone use cases and commercial solutions have begun scaling worldwide. The challenges around regulations and technologies for flying in congested urban airspace, backyards, and over city streets have been developing quietly over the last few years. An innovative software company collaborating with regional, provincial, and federal governments in this space is AirMatrix, which maps and provides digital infrastructure for drones to safely navigate urban airspace. So they talk about things like regulations, for example, which is a big barrier, but at the same time, even for things logistically, I mean, some of you guys mentioned in terms of delivery, what would happen, I guess, if you weren't home to get the delivery? It seems like you have to actually be in person with the way things are done currently anyways. You're not gonna have, I guess, a package delivery guy leave like a slip, or is that what the drone would do in general? Although one thing I could think of which might be better in terms of efficiency, because in terms of delivering, let's say, items, you're not home with a standard delivery system that we know of now. If there was a huge drone delivery system where there's tons of drones and it's automated, I could imagine where people will only request for the item when they know they'll be home, like for a package delivery. So imagine it's a warehouse or something like that, and they say, oh, I'm home now. It says this flight will take about, I don't know, 20 minutes. So I'll initiate, I guess, the shipping now. I could imagine that actually being more efficient than people guessing when the delivery driver and stuff is coming. But at the same time, you're gonna have to be able to scale that operation. And this piece of news was popping up everywhere. Apparently in the US, they had mask mandates and requirements for people flying airlines, and recently a judge, I guess, determined it was illegal to have those types of rules, I guess. It says, breaking news, the 4 largest US airlines, United, Delta, Southwest, and American, dropped their mask requirements for domestic flights after a judge struck down the federal mandate. It wasn't just airlines too, according to all this. Even companies like Uber dropped their mask requirements for their drivers almost immediately after this judgment. So a lot of people just wanted to get rid of it, I guess, immediately, as soon as possible. And as to the reason why, I was trying to read this to find out what the details were. This one says, US judge throws out Biden mask mandate for planes and trains. So what happened exactly? It says here, I guess there was a group that made a lawsuit and they won. It says the lawsuit was first brought in July 2021 by the conservative group Health Freedom Defense Fund and 2 Florida residents who said wearing masks increased their anxiety and panic attacks. The plaintiffs argued that the CDC mandate was arbitrary and capricious because it gave exemptions to certain groups like children under 2 years of age but not to others. In her ruling, Judge Mizell, who was appointed by former President Donald Trump, found that the CDC had improperly invoked what is known as the good cause exemption, allowing the agency to skip public notice and comment on the mandate. Because our system does not permit agencies to act unlawfully, even in pursuit of desirable ends, Judge Mizell wrote, invoking another case, the court declares unlawful and vacates the mask mandate. Shortly after the legal decision was issued, the Transportation Security Administration, which runs U.S. airport security, confirmed it would no longer enforce the mask mandate. So some people are really excited about this, whereas others are terrified. And it's kind of interesting reading the other perspective, which made me think too, because it actually doesn't make sense when I think of it overall in terms of how we handle other things in life. Like this person here wrote, "One of my patients tearfully told me she's canceling her flight to her daughter's outdoor wedding on Saturday. It's wild. Some people's mild discomfort while wearing a mask is more important than the immune-compromised people's ability to live through a pandemic." So that's the argument I've often heard, where a lot of people say you should do it for the immune-compromised. And some would say, why wouldn't the immune-compromised person just wear something that completely protects them, for example? And it says here, she doesn't feel comfortable knowing there will be people harassing her for wearing a full kit, and her daughter does not want her to take the risk. She is devastated. So this is the part that doesn't really make sense to me logically overall on how we deal with things, I guess, in society in general. And someone else could feel free to offer a different perspective, but in general, with the immune compromise here, there is an option with what this person said where they should wear a full kit. Would that provide them, let's just say, quote, 100% protection? If so, then isn't that the way to go? Now the argument is other people are going to start ridiculing them. For example, maybe you wearing like this suit or whatever it is, people will say you're a monster, you're, well, I don't know, some kind of freak. Whereas in that case, if that's the only reason to get everyone else to, let's just say, wear something to make them feel better, again, that's not how we handle most things in life. For me personally, if I see someone out here with a wheelchair, for example, or a tube sticking out of them to get air and so forth, I don't go up to them and start making fun of them. There might be people who do that, but as a majority, I would say, most people don't do that. So wouldn't you rather deal with those troublemakers than force everyone else to have to, I guess, do exactly what you do in order to make you feel comfortable in that sense? So thinking about it on a different topic, which would be the same thing on why it wouldn't make sense, let's take a topic, for example, like racism. You would have people come up to me, for example, make disparaging remarks. Ultimately, in my opinion, the mass majority of people wouldn't be like that. The only issue, in my opinion, is most people don't do anything about it when they see someone getting, let's just say, harassed in that way. So that would be the big issue here. If you see people ridiculing another person wearing, like, say, a quote full kit, then the problem isn't everyone else needs to wear whatever it is. It's dealing with those troublemakers, in my opinion. Wouldn't that be correct? Because, like with the racism example, wouldn't it be ridiculous if I said, okay, for you guys to make me feel comfortable, because I'm afraid to walk outside, get mugged by someone who's a racist, what you guys need to do is you guys need to paint your skin color to look like an Asian in every single way. Similarly there, I would say that can't be the right solution to make all you guys try to be like, say, myself in terms of the appearance and all that, in order for me not to get, I guess, quote, harassed by a racist. Wouldn't the solution there be, again, to try to find ways to deal with those, quote, troublemakers? Like here, maybe all you need is just re-education for people where they say, if you ever see a person like this, they could be, quote, I guess, immune compromised. So don't give them a hard time, for example. Wouldn't that be the ultimate solution? So I don't understand that when people use that argument. Because when you think about it, just trying to be impartial here, if the concern is that her patient's gonna get harassed and all that, she's gonna get things like anxiety, then how about the other argument, like with that lawsuit where those people claim they get extreme panic attacks and stuff like that for, I don't know, wearing a mask and so forth. Now you could argue whether or not that is the case, but in general, how could you favor one side over the other? Wouldn't ultimately the solution be to give someone, I guess, a quote choice per se? So again, I'd be fascinated. Does anyone else have a different perspective in that regards on why that's inaccurate in terms of how I'm reading this logically and how we handle other things in life? Because the over-exaggerated example would be, let's just say, literally the whole world is immune to a certain virus minus one person, literally. So in that regards, would it make sense like there, where the whole world now needs to wear, let's just say, a quote mask to protect that one person? Or would it make more sense to develop ways to help that one person in particular, per se, and educating everyone else, well, this is what the person needs, like, don't harass them? Wouldn't that make more sense overall? Alright, see you guys later.